Welcome back to some more Elite Speak, and we have the AEW Dynamite review for April 21st, 2021. And this episode featured a lot of good wrestling matches. The work rate was spot on, told some stories, and it moved some stories forward and getting us prepped for Blood and Guts in 2 weeks, May 5th. This is also the second Dynamite that they've gone unopposed to NXT, who has moved to Tuesday nights permanent. That's good. And they've done a steady number. They kept their viewers mostly from last week. Only dropped about 100,000, which is to be expected with the juggernaut of a show called The Challenge on. But that's going to end this week. So next week, there will be no challenge. So we'll see how that goes. We kicked off the night with Ricky Starks going up against Hangman Adam Page. Page wins via a submission move, his first submission finish to a match. I think he's going to start using this a bit going forward instead of just relying on the buckshot lariat and his once in a while Deadeye finish. So we'll never know when the finish of a match will come. So that's good. Post-match, Taz was on the announce team during this match, by the way. Post-match, he says that Page should be watching his back. And sure enough, Hook gets in on the action as he chop blocks Page from behind. And this allowed the rest of Team Taz to come out and start beating down Page. But not long after this, the Dark Order comes out to back up Page. So the Page Dark Order dynamic continues, and it seems like Team Taz may be going after Adam Page as well. And this may potentially bring the Dark Order into the mix also. So we'll see. Following that up, we had Penta El Cero Miedo versus Trent with a question mark. And this was a decent matchup as well. Penta wins via help from Alex Abrahantes, as he should, being that he's a heel, so it works. Thought it was a solid match, but it was probably the weakest on the show, oddly enough. Following that up, we had JR sitting down with the Pinnacle as he interviews them. JR asked what their thoughts were on the interview that Jericho gave. Interview/promo that Jericho spat on him last week. And MJF says Tully is at home writing the plays for the Pinnacle. And he says that he's a mark for Jericho's spot. When you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top. He had a lot more stuff to say, but that was pretty much the summary. MJF hit it out the park during this promo. Also, MJF gave Wardlow a chance to speak as well. He chimed in on the gaffe that Jericho had on when he referred to Wardlow having a 12-cent body. And Wardlow clapped back with words of his own, saying that he knew that when Jericho messed up his name, he knew that he was no one to be trifling with. So they turned that into a nice little beat, as AEW often does, turns lemons into lemonade. Great promo. MJF did most of the talking, and everyone else was just there playing the part of looking cool and mean. Then we followed that up with my match of the night. And sure enough, it was the women's championship match. Tay Conti, the challenger, going up against the AEW World Women's Champ, Hikaru Shida. Match of the night. And this was the best match that either has had in AEW to date, in my opinion. Tay Conti is on the rise, and she just continues to get better, and this match was no exception. She even made Shida look the best she's ever looked, and that's saying something. Because Shida is usually the one trying to help elevate the others in their matches. So Shida actually had competition this time, and she was being tossed around, as she often does not. So she was on the receiving end of a lot in this match. Shida wins, though, via a nice flurry of offense, which includes her patented knee strike. The match was great. Tay is very much improved. And post-match, Britt Baker comes out to show that she is now number 1 ranked, since Tay Conti, who was number 1, fell, and Baker was right behind Conti at number 2. So now she is number 1, and she is next in line to challenge Hikaru Shida for the title. And this will be done at Double or Nothing, in my opinion. They just gotta build it up. Till then, they got plenty of time. Hopefully, they actually get this feud going, get this, make this match feel more important by the time Double or Nothing hits, which I think they can do with Britt Baker leading the charge due to her promos, etc. With a heel Baker, she could definitely bring out a lot of the face challengers that she is surely to get file her way after she wins that title, because she is going to win at Double or Nothing. Shida, has been a nice reign. You've been a nice pandemic champ, but all good things must come to an end. We followed that up with a Miro promo. And he says, what champ does he be first? Well, I can answer that. It definitely won't be Omega, so it will most likely be Darby Allin. Miro could very well be the next TNT champion, and I think that will probably happen sooner rather than later. But for now, Kip is going to go on a tear. He's going to go rip Kip Sabian limb from limb. He was asking, where is Kip? He still hasn't shown up. It's been like 2 to 3 weeks since that Arcade Anarchy match that Miro didn't want any part of, which is hilarious. So the sooner Miro breaks Kip in half, the sooner we will get Miro on to becoming that monster that many people want to see him become. Should be good. We followed that up with the Tony Schiavone interview. He interviews the Inner Circle. He didn't really interview him because it was mostly Jericho doing the talking here. Jericho says, who cares about the Pinnacle? Next week, it'll be Inner Circle and the Pinnacle as they go face to face to come up with blood and guts plans in a parlay. So we're going to get the rules of blood and guts next week, most likely, due to this altercation. And I must say that Jericho was not the star of this segment. That would have to go to Santana. Santana of Santana and Ortiz. He delivered another great emotion, heartfelt promo here as he was talking about FTR. He was referencing FTR because they kept mentioning them, and he said whenever they step up or whatever, they always have the Pinnacle waiting in the wings, and he says those are bitch moves. I like that line. And we're going to get a great matchup out of those two teams whenever that match happens. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Many feel that they are rushing this blood and guts match, which I kind of do now, because they could have stretched that out way past Double or Nothing. It could have been like in July or June at the latest. Could have got a few matches out of the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle going at each other in singles matches, tag matches, etc. They could have filled up weeks of TV, but we'll see. Should be decent nonetheless. We followed that up with a Billy Gunn versus QT Marshall match. QT wins via a Go-Go's gut punch to Billy on the outside on the ramp, followed by QT's diamond cutter. And that was that. QT defeats Billy Gunn by nefarious means. The factory continues to punish those in their way. I like the factory I like the factory dynamic. I like the team, the pairing, the action. Post match, Dustin comes out with a wooden chair, which he attempts to attack QT with, but Dustin gets taken down. QT then, I think someone takes QT down as well, but this allowed Dustin to grab the wooden chair. Komoroto comes into the ring, and he takes this chair on his head. No sells it like a beast. He took this wooden chair as it splintered into millions of pieces after it struck him. And this didn't do anything but anger him. And we're probably going to see something between these two teams next weekend. It's going to be the Nightmare Family going up against the Factory. So that should be interesting. Following that up, we had the Elite had a backstage segment. They were walking to their trailer with Don Callis, Brandon Cutler filming it, and the Good Brothers with Omega. As they were doing their little interview or speaking to the camera in their trailer, Omega notices a friggin' horn honking nonstop on the outside. And as the camera panned cut to the outside, it turned out that it was none other than Moxley driving a truck with Kingston as the passenger making the noise. Moxley drove the truck into the trailer that the Elite were in, and they didn't appear to be in it as Moxley and Kingston were checking this out after they crashed into it. But as you can see, if you look closely, there's a back door of the trailer open in the background, and that's possibly where they snuck out after such an ordeal. Still, you'd think they would have been noticed or something, but still, it was a nice little segment. It had some old school vibes because you don't see too much like that anymore. Nothing like that. So that was pretty cool. Tony Khan spares no expense. He destroyed that trailer. We followed that segment up with Will Powerhouse Hobbs versus Christian Cage. And this was a nice little match as well. Christian, though, wins via the kill switch. Will Hobbs looked good in this match. He pretty much dominated most of the match till Christian made a comeback near the end. And it was Hobbs' own undoing as he was mocking Christian with his pose. And as soon as he turned around, Christian hit Hobbs with the kill switch for that win. Team Taz can't seem to get a break. They can't seem to catch a break. They seem to lose the competitive matches, but they win a lot on Dark and Elevation though. Team Taz really got to get it together. I also think Brian Cage is going to fall next week as well. He's going to have a match against, I forget who he's going up against. I think it's Adam Page, but I don't think he's winning that. But we shall see. Stranger things have happened. And then this leads us to the main event. Jungle Boy taking on the AEW TNT champion, Darby Allin. This was a great match as well. Second favorite match of the night. These two match up pretty well. They got chemistry, they got speed, and they both can sell. That's good stuff. And they're young. We're going to see this match many times in the future. Darby wins via the Last Supper pin. It came out of nowhere. Post-match, hell breaks loose as Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out and beat down Darby. Ethan Page hit Darby with his Eagle's Edge finisher. Archer then comes out, followed by Sting with his bat. And this clearly sets up something for the future, possibly on Dynamite next week, as we got like two storylines going on here. But at least they kept the shenanigans out of the match. it all happened after the match. And even if it did occur during the match, they took it backstage when Sting got into Luchasaurus's face and they brawled to the back. So the focus was still on the match. So that was fine. All in all, it was a good episode of Dynamite, and I hope they continue this going into Double or Nothing and Blood and Guts in 2 weeks. Ratings report. AEW garnered, I think it was 1.1 something million viewers on the night, which is not bad. They lost about 100,000-ish. And to be expected, as I stated earlier, due to the challenge show having most of the audience there. So we'll see where they're at next week. Good episode of Dynamite, and I hope you join me for the next review as we lead up to Blood and Guts. Take care and have a good one.